Hi friends, I hope you are all well. So today I've decided to kind of create a different setup. I'm in process of getting new camera gear and hopefully a better microphone so that I have better sound when I make videos for you. So my last video I had unboxed my very first Birkin, and today I just wanted to go over how I basically went about the whole process of meeting my SA to my purchases, and then also how I ended up scoring this Birkin here. So I started my Hermes journey, I would say, mid 2019. And my very first item through Hermes retail was an Evelyn bag in the E2 color. And now when I purchased that bag, I went to my very first SA, and the feeling was that she was very eager, very nice towards me, very helpful. And I got into an issue where I purchased the bag, the E2 color with silver, with palladium hardware. And after I took it home and I thought about it, I realized that at the time it wasn't too difficult to get a gold hardware one, but they didn't have any in the store at the time. And the more I sat on it, the more I felt like I know down the line this is something that I really would regret not getting. So I basically reached out to my SA again, and I asked if I can do an even exchange. It took quite a couple of conversations, but luckily she was very willing to help me, and she went ahead and ordered a gold hardware Evelyn in E2 color, so that I can make the even swap basically. And after that experience, I did feel that I had maxed out that SA's patience with me. Not that she was rude or anything like that. She was still very nice to me, but I can feel that that catapulted me to the bottom of the list of any futuristic wants and needs. So that said, I kind of left the issue alone for a while, just because when I started my Hermes journey, I wasn't in a situation where I felt like I'm definitely gonna own a Birkin one day, or I'm gonna have a Kelly or anything like that. At the time, I was still kind of getting to know the brand. I initially have quite a few Chanel bags, and so I was just simply not familiar with too many Hermes products, and that was the initial start of my journey. So after that happened, I kind of put a hold on any further purchases. I mean, buying my very first Hermes, it was already a big deal to me. Basically, I found my SA through chance, because my friend over the summer that I had lunch with recommended me to reach out to her SA if I ever needed anything to add to my Hermes collection. And the day that I called the store to set up an appointment for me to go in and take a look at a couple of pieces that I had been eyeing, my friend's SA was not working that day, and he was not available. And so what happened was that the person that picked up my call is the one that took my appointment. And so when I got to the store, it was kind of a late appointment. It was almost basically the last appointment of the day. So I kind of blew in and really rushed through it, and I already knew what I wanted, and so the whole conversation was simple. almost, it wasn't a very meaty conversation, but just an initial meet and greet. And within minutes, I already picked up my very first item from this SA, which was a Click H bracelet. Not this one, but a neutral color one that I have. And I left basically, and I did mention that down the line I might be interested in getting a Kelly or a Birkin. That was it. It was a really simple conversation. The whole experience couldn't have been more than 20 minutes, and I was already out of the store. Now through the 20 minutes though, he did mention that my essay did mention that the store was expanding and they were taking up a larger space across, nearby in the mall that I go to. And so he kind of semi-invited me back the next month, the following month when they did move, and just to visit the store and see how much they've expanded. And because it's going to be a bigger space, they were going to also have furniture and everything involved as well. So that really excited me, and I hung in there for about a month. Thinking back, there wasn't a whole lot of stock in the store at the time, in the smaller store at the time, because they were getting ready to move and they just didn't receive any new orders yet. It just didn't make sense for them to take any new shipments coming in. So they decided to hold off and wait until they moved into the new store until they got larger shipments. And so I really wanted this bracelet here, this Click H. It has like prints on it. And so I decided a month later to reach out to this same SA, and I made an appointment with him, and he seemed to know who I was already through text message. And then the day of, I basically had a completely different experience with him. And I mean, not that the first experience wasn't good. It was just so short and so new that, like, he didn't know me, I didn't know him. Things were kind of on the colder side. We just simply didn't have that much to talk about with the time of the day. It was just everything going on that just wasn't it wasn't as full blown, I would say. Now the second time when I did meet him, he just did this really welcoming greet once I walked into the store, and he showed me around the new space. And at the time, because they had a new space, they had a photo booth that was was geared towards the Christmas holiday, and they were making ornaments at the time, and they look like these little pieces, and they so my SA showed me around the entire store, and really was patient with everything, talked to me about leathers and just in-depth knowledge about the Hermes brand and colors and whatnot. So the first visit, I would say, took up a good hour and a half, and I at the time had held about 4 different bags, or rather like 4 it was a mix of different bags and colors, and my SA was generous enough to hold it for me, including this bracelet. Basically he let me wait until I took a couple of days to think about exactly what I wanted before going back there. And the reason behind why I did that was because you don't always get what you set out for. The color combinations or the leather types or the sizes, it's never exactly the one you wanted, and if it does work out that way, that's a really, you're just really lucky. And so because I had a couple of pieces in mind, and they weren't exactly what I initially wanted, I needed some time to think about it, and my essay was generous enough to give me a couple of days of time and hold everything for me. And once I went back there a couple of days later, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I selected the few pieces, which was the Garden Party 30 that I got, and I believe I did do a video for. Also this Click H bracelet, and also 2 Twillies during that purchase as well. And that was basically my first video that I posted about. And that mini haul basically started to really set how the relationship was between my essay and I, even though it was a very short-lived one so far. So that was back in the end of November or early December, I would say. And so between my first Click H bracelet and that mini haul of the second Click H, 2 Twillies, and the Garden Party bag, that was just a month in between. So maybe from October to November, I had made those 2 purchases. And you know, throughout Christmas and New Year's, I did send a message to my essay to just wish him happy holidays and to thank him for everything, and that I'd be seeing him again in the new year. And so throughout January, February, I actually didn't end up going into store, and the reason behind that was because I did find an Evelyn in the Vert Cypress color that I really, really wanted for a very long time. And so I went ahead and purchased it online. And so, and you know, I had brought this up with my essay the last time I was in the store, and I had asked, like, what if I do see a color that I really want on the website, and you know, he just couldn't get it for me in the store? What do? I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, I feel bad that I'm not buying it through him. And he actually was nice enough to say, you know, hey, if you really find a color that you really love and it's really hard to get, just get it. Just grab it off the website, because you know, if it's hard to get, it's hard to get. That's what it is. Like, he was saying that he might not even be able to, if I lost out on that opportunity, he really might not be able to get it for me. So, and at the end of the day, he wants me happy. So I just felt like the more I worked with him, the more I felt that yes, of course, he's, you know, a sales associate and he has to make commission off of everything. But I think he's been quite generous with me, and I totally appreciate that. And you know, that kind of makes me love the brand even more. Not only do I love their products, but I was able to meet this essay that is so understanding, and he has never made me feel like I should just go in there and spend and buy up everything in the store just to make him happy. You know, like I don't feel that at all. And so far the feeling is great, and it's gotten me to open up a little bit more about me and my taste and what I plan on buying in the future. And it just, you know, that essentially makes me want to go back more. And so most of my purchases, they're not random pieces that I just feel like I found and I, you know, bought at the moment or anything like that. All of these items so far that I have picked up are things that I've looked at and I've really wanted. And sure, there were some things where I initially, for example, I wanted the Garden Party in Vert Cypress, but I was unable to find it in that color. And it turned out that I found an Evelyn in Vert Cypress instead. And the Garden Party 30 that I do have, that color, I love it too. It's just so different and so unique, and I really love collecting bags that are unique in that way, you know, because at the end of the day, everybody can go out there and buy an Evelyn or buy a Garden Party, but you know, having that unique color really sets it apart a little bit, and I really like that factor. Some recommendations would be to do some research and make a list of items that you want. And I find that this is the easiest way to not get overwhelmed when you're in store and feel kind of that pressure of that fine line between really getting what you want and also just kind of picking these things up, thinking that it's gonna be the process or the journey into getting a Birkin or a Kelly or forming this relationship with your SA. It's I would say it's quite easy to fall into that category of feeling obligated to have to buy something. But I mean, just me personally, I don't feel like that should be the case, as you're spending your hard-earned money on these items. So it should be very well thought out. And, of course, occasionally we do change our minds. But, ultimately, I think that just to pre-select and have items in mind that you'd like to get to set out for, I think that's the best bet, so that you don't have the situation kind of overshadow anything that you'd like to kind of curate and collect into your pieces. Another thing is that honestly, there's really no rhyme or reason between everyone's experiences with Hermes and their SAs. But I can say that each relationship is unique. And, if you think about it this way, then you really have much more personalization with these experiences as well, because it's kind of like meeting a friend. You're not going to find another friend in replace of another friend. So it's always going to be this unique experience. And that's how I feel it's like in the Hermes journey and meeting an SA. And at this point, I can actually say, and I have said this to my SA, that I feel like he's really my friend now, more than anything, because we don't always just have conversations on items or Hermes products or anything like that. We talk outside of that. And, I even text him restaurants to go to. That was really the last conversation that I had with him, that, he was interested in some restaurants that I told him about, and I just kind of texted him a list of it. And that's kind of how our relationship is now at this point. But I don't go and step over that fine line of taking advantage of him either, knowing that he, at this point, I feel like he likes me. He likes me as a client, and I don't take advantage of that and corner him into giving me something that I want. It's kind of a free-flowing situation on both sides. And that's how comfortable it should feel on both sides, I think. And ultimately, you do get what you want. So that said, that's kind of how my journey process got me to the third, or rather the fourth, just because my second visit was more of a visit to pre-select, and then my third visit was to actually buy those items that I had pre-selected. So my fourth visit to my SA, it was the month of my birthday, basically, and that was the end of March. And I made an appointment with him weeks prior to my birthday, and I had mentioned it to him that, hey, I might be stopping by with my girlfriends, just because I'm having some, a light gathering, outdoor dining with my friends on my birthday, so I might drop by with them. Is it okay that I have two other friends with me, just because of this COVID situation? And he said, yes, it's fine. He just needs a little approval from his manager, and we should be all set. But the day of, timing just didn't work out, so my friends actually didn't go with me, and I went alone, which kind of worked out even better, because sometimes I would feel bad if my friends just kind of sat there and and my SE and I are having this long conversation about basically everything else going on in the world and how, you know, these changes are impacting all of us and things like that. And basically the day of, I had gone to the store, and once again, he greeted me very nicely. And we just kind of didn't stop talking since I walked through the door, and we kept on going on, and about 45 minutes into the conversation, we were still not talking about anything Hermes related or any of the bags or what I wanted. Like, none of that was going on the first 45 minutes of my visit. And to me, that's great, because that's really the kind of relationship that I want to build. I don't want to feel pressured. I don't think he feels pressured at this point that I'm like cornering him to give me what I want or anything. And the thing is, like, the list of my wants aren't even something that are, you know, something that's really set in stone, or there's no flexibility to it. And I feel like that's what it is when you are, you know, when you get familiarized with Hermes. It's just not possible to always set out to get exactly what you want. So I think having that flexibility in mind is always a good thing. And so after 45 minutes into our conversation, I just kind of, you know, he asked, you know, what I was setting out to get. And basically I told him, hey, it's my birthday, and I really thought about it, and, you know, some of the next pieces I'd like to add to my collection would really be the Birkin first, and then the Kelly second. And I asked if he had any in store, and he kind of diverted and didn't answer that question immediately. He kind of just answered it with a question, and he was asking what colors I wanted. And basically I wanted a Birkin 30 in the gold color, the, you know, 37 color, and whether the hardware was in gold or palladium, I was open to that as long as it was in the gold color. And he asked if I was open to any other colors, or is that the only one that I'm setting out to get. And I said, well, you know, honestly, that's my ultimate Birkin that I really want, but I am flexible. I understand Hermes, and you know, any of the heritage colors are really keen for me too, meaning you know, I love etude, I love contrast stitching, I love all sorts of you know, those things, and I am open to other colors too. I'm not particularly a bright color bag person, so something like the bright yellows and the bright greens and the bright fuchsias. Even maybe I might not even be okay with a really bright big red bag. I'm not sure. I love red, but I don't know if I need another one at this point, because I do have a Prada in red. And so I really like the dark colors in tints. So like Vert Cypress, it's basically a dark green. Almost in some lights, you know, it looks black. You know, if you don't have good lighting, it looks black. And I like those kinds of colors where it's a dark green or a dark blue or a dark red, anything like that. And so I basically told him the whole gist of that. And he said that there are a bunch of exotics that he does have. And he was kind of checking to see if I was interested in any of the exotics, but which I'm not. And I asked again in a different way, and I said to him, you know, if he has any Birkin 30s in stock, I would love to try it on just to see on a sizing perspective, because, you know, he did ask me if I was interested in the 25 or the 30 or the 35, anything like that, like how far can I expand or be flexible on sizing. And my very first, I really want a 30, just because I feel like for me and my frame and my height, it's really the perfect size. And you know, I'm 5'4.5", I'm not quite 5'5", and my dress size is somewhere between a 0 and a size 2. depending. And so I'm gonna have a petite frame, and I can't really see myself handling anything over a 35, and so a 30 is really my ideal. And I gently kind of nudged to see if he had any 30 Birkins in stock. Whatever color it is, it's fine. I just kind of wanted to try it on to see if it would pair up with my frame. And he said, just hang out for a moment. He might have something in the back, and so he'll check on it and he'll see what he can bring out. And so he went in for maybe a good 5 minutes or so, and I was just kind of circulating the store to see what else I wanted. And I honestly, at that point, I was kind of nervous and I wasn't sure what was going on. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with the process either. It was so early on in my process. I had only made really just this, 2 purchases from him, and it was a little bit of everything. Confused, I was excited, it was my birthday, was this really happening? Pinch me, like a lot was going on. And so I didn't really think about it. I was kind of distracting myself by looking through the store. And suddenly he comes out with a big box, and he kind of calls me to the back where the fine jewelry is, and like not a lot of people were around, or actually no one was around that area. And he basically said, well, right now it's COVID, so the private rooms aren't really, opened. So this is the best bet that we can do, which is to kind of hide out in the back a little where there's less people, so that like we don't have an audience. Once he opened the box, I honestly, again, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of expected him to take out something that was too wild for me to comprehend, like a really, really super bright neon green or something. And I'm not saying that those colors aren't beautiful. They are beautiful. It's just, it would be kind of shocking for me just because I don't have anything in those realms in my wardrobe, or I'm just not used to that. And so, I don't want to offend anyone that goes for those colors. And at some point I actually am starting to see, like, once you have like enough neutral colors and basics, you might actually want to start building upon like these really unique pops of colors. I'm not quite there yet. And so once he took this out, I was really shell-shocked because it's black, a really sought after Birkin, and in the size 30. So I was at loss for words. I was quiet, actually. And I told my essay, I was like, I'm quiet right now because I'm in shock. I am talkative, but like I have no words. And not only is it in black, but it's in this leather that people like VIPs usually have this special ordered. And this is the Chèvre Coromandel, which is a goat leather. And it's just really beautiful. And so, I mean, look at, even the handles are like, the pebbles and everything show like that. And I couldn't put it any better than what my essay said about it. He said that it's kind of like a perfect, it has this perfect sheen to it. It's not overly shiny, but it has just enough to not to differentiate this black from the other Hermes blacks that are in like Togo, which comes out matte. And once he said that, I was like, oh my god. Now I have to say that I didn't take it right away. And this is where everything kind of I don't want to say went downhill. It did work out, obviously, in the end, but I was out of my mind. I was out of my mind at the moment, and I couldn't comprehend because this wasn't registering as something that I went in wanting. And I know I just went through everything about flexibility and all of that, but I was just in shock that I was even getting offered. So many emotions were going on that I couldn't comprehend what was going on. And if what is happening? Am I getting this? Is this mine? I'm not sure. Should I wait? And my essay also said, like, look, I mean, if you get this and, you know, you only have 2 quotas per year. So if you get this one and it's not something that you want, you are using up one of your quotas, you know? So he's like, I suggest that if you really are set on what you want, then pass on this and we'll get it at some point. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'll get it for you. And I believe him and I trust him. But at the same time, I'm thinking the gold is like, there's a long line waiting for the gold Birkin. And for me to be able to get that, for me to even be able to get this, like, I can't understand why, because that, you know, that whole thing about the 1-to-1 ratio, all of that, I'm not even sure I was there, you know. And after purchasing it, honestly, I was not there. You know, this, basically I purchased it for $13,900, and what I spent all together, it was, you know, it's been roughly, you know, slightly over $10,000, but it was not $13,900, and I was still able to get this. So some things are of a myth, and I can't say that it's a myth, that it's not, that people aren't telling the truth, but to me, I think that these things vary depending on the store and depending how they run. And so every store is going to have their own set of rules and who, you know, and how things are done, if that makes sense. So again, I didn't take this bag right away, and I was struggling so hard for, I can't believe how long I was in there, but I was in there for over 2 hours. And, you know, the first 45 was talking and then struggling the last half of it. And my essay sensed that I was just really struggling. And if this was in gold hardware, I would have just got it. That's it, you know. But for me, selecting something in a silver or palladium hardware, it's a kind of a harder bet for me. But my essay was kind enough to say, hey, it was a Friday that day. So he was like, hey, look, if you really want some time to think about it, and I know how you function and you need some time to absorb and think about it, I'll hold it for you until Monday. If you still want it on Monday, this is here for you. And I was like, oh my God, like that, oh my God. So I totally took him up on the offer, and walking out of there, I was really still, I would even say 50-50. I really wasn't sure I was gonna come back for it, just because it, you know, at the time, and I know how this sounds right now, but at the time it felt right to say, hey, I should hold out for the goal that I really set out that I wanted. So I get home and I make tons of phone calls to my friends and the people that are kind of within the Hermes community, and most of them yelled at me. Most of them were like, what is wrong with you? You just got offered your first Birkin and you're passing it up. What is the matter with you? And so I started to really think about this whole thing, and I luckily had not just an overnight you know, time frame to think about it, but I had the weekend to think about it, and I really considered it, and I felt like, oh my God, this is a Birkin 30 in black. Like, it's so sought after, you know. And what if I had to reorganize my thoughts and reorganize what I initially panned out to get, which was the gold color in Birkin? What if I waited and potentially got the Kelly in gold instead, or potentially get another Birkin in gold when that happens? I mean, how often do these things happen to people? So it didn't even take me all weekend to figure this out. By the next morning, I texted my essay and I said, I know you're not working today, and I'm sorry to bug you on a Saturday morning, but I really need you to hold that bag for me until Monday, and I'll definitely be there on Monday to see you again because I really want the bag now. And I am so sure that I really want it. And he knows how I function, even though he wasn't trying to persuade me to not get it, but he wanted me to be sure. And once I sent him that text, he knew that I was like out to get it. And so he was like, don't worry about it. I have your back, and I already it's on hold for us to handle, so I'll see you Monday. And basically that was that. So on Monday I went back to the store, and I also picked up the scarf that I made a video about as well. That's the Hermes birthday unboxing part 1, if you would like to see in my videos. And it's 100% cashmere scarf that was like a super low priced scarf. I got it for $3.75, which is like what a cost of a Burberry cashmere scarf. No offense to Burberry, but this is Hermes, 100% cashmere too. So I'm super happy for that piece as well. And down the line, I also want a bigger, whether it's a silk cashmere blend or a full cashmere, kind of a bigger wrap, or kind of a blanket type. I want one of those too. But basically that's really what happened with my whole journey with getting this Birkin here. And I still can't believe that it's happened. And I can't wait until I can start using it. And I'm not really going places yet, so I haven't really taken it out or anything like that, but hopefully very soon. And I hope kind of my journey, telling you about my journey and my process helps you out a little to figure out what's right for you. I think that's essentially what it is, that you kind of watch a lot of these videos and also comments from other people and take everything into consideration and know yourself really well to see like how you can carry through this journey without stressing yourself out, because parts of it is really stressful. Just like when I had to put this on hold and take some time to think about it, like people that are kind of like me that can't make decisions on the fly like that, it's very difficult to, number one, spend this kind of money on a bag like this for like within minutes. Like it's not something that I do regularly. And just, having that gear shift really, really throws, people like me off. As prepared as prepared as I have been, it's still something not super easy when it does happen to you. So I hope this video kind of helps you kind of wrap your head around what happened and how things can happen. But ultimately, I think to have your essay at your corner is really something that smooths out a lot of the kinks, because you shouldn't have to feel so like super stressed over something that's supposed to be in addition to your happiness. So I would also recommend to not be too pushy, just because of some of the conversations that I've had with my essay. I can tell that some of the pushier clients would make him feel cornered enough that even if a bag does come into the store, they might not think of you right away, because sometimes like just people function that way, right? Like people have to enjoy your presence to want to help you out. And I think that's what the transaction is like, and that goes for pretty much any kind of relationship. So I would say to think of your relationship with your essay like you were to think of a friend, and that would really serve on both sides. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video, and I will, and I also hope that you enjoyed all the mod shots. This is the first video that I'm doing, that I'm kind of more in action in the videos, and hopefully I'll be able to get more gear soon so that I can make better content and better video for you all. So thank you for watching, and I hope you ask me any questions, but also subscribe. That would really help me out to build on my channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.